Everybody, welcome to study number 13 in 1 Samuel in our Search the Scriptures study. And as you can see from the Christmas tree behind me, we're getting ready for Christmas here at the Trout household, and things are looking beautiful around here. My daughter comes back from Egypt in about 6 days, so things are really getting exciting. And things are exciting today in 1 Samuel. We are going to look at chapter number 15. Very interesting story here, and we're going to try to answer two different sets of questions from chapter 15. So get a Bible out, open to 1 Samuel 15, and get ready. We'll read it together in just a moment. We're going to try to answer these two different questions. First one is this: trace the course of Saul's disobedience, his excuses, and his self-interest. And we're going to look also at the course of Samuel's warning, his denunciation, and his declaration of divine judgment. And what can we learn concerning God's ways and God's demands of his service? Second set of questions from verse 11 and from Samuel's reply to Saul in verses 22 and 23. What do we learn concerning the divine reaction against ritual without obedience, and against outward religious observance that masks an inner disobedience? And have God's requirements or God's attitudes in regards to that changed? Let's look at 1 Samuel chapter 15 together now, beginning with the very first verse. Samuel said to Saul, I am the one that the Lord sent to anoint you king over his people Israel. So listen now to the message from the Lord. This is what the Lord, the Almighty, says. I will punish the Amalekites for what they did to Israel when they waylaid them as they came up from Egypt. Now go, attack the Amalekites, and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. So Saul summoned the men and mustered them at Telaim, 200,000 foot soldiers, and 10,000 from Judah. And Saul went to the city of Amalek, and he set an ambush in the ravine. Then he said to the Kenites, Go away, leave the Amalekites, so that I do not destroy you along with them. For you showed kindness to all the Israelites when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites moved away from the Amalekites. And then Saul attacked the Amalekites all the way from Havilah to Shur, near the eastern border of Egypt. And he took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive, and all his people he totally destroyed with the sword. But Saul and the army spared Agag and the best of the sheep and cattle, the fat calves and the lambs, everything that was good. These they were unwilling to destroy completely, but everything that was despised and weak they totally destroyed. Then the word of the Lord came to Samuel. I regret that I have made Saul king, because he has turned away from me and has not carried out my instructions. Samuel was angry, and he cried out to the Lord all that night. And early in the morning Samuel got up and went to meet Saul, but he was told, Saul has gone to Carmel, and there he has set up a monument in his own honor, and has turned and gone on down to Gilgal. When Samuel reached him, Saul said, The Lord bless you. I've carried out the Lord's instructions. But Samuel said, What then is this bleating of sheep in my ears? What is this lowing of cattle that I hear? And Saul answered, The soldiers brought them from the Amalekites. They spared the best of the sheep and cattle to sacrifice to the Lord your God, but we totally destroyed the rest. Enough, Samuel said to Saul. Let me tell you what the Lord said to me last night. Tell me, Saul replied. Samuel said, Although you were once small in your own eyes, did you not become the head of the tribes of Israel? The Lord anointed you king over Israel, and he sent you on a mission, saying, Go and completely destroy those wicked people, the Amalekites. Wage war against them until you have wiped them out. Why did you not obey the Lord? Why did you pounce on the plunder and do evil in the eyes of the Lord? But I did obey the Lord, Saul said. I went on the mission the Lord assigned me, and I completely destroyed the Amalekites and brought back Agag, their king. The soldiers took sheep and cattle from the plunder, the best of what was devoted to God, in order to sacrifice them to the Lord your God at Gilgal. But Samuel replied, "Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry. Because you've rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king." And then Saul said to Samuel, "I've sinned. I violated the Lord's command and your instructions. I was afraid of the men, and so I gave in to them. Now I beg you, forgive my sin and come back with me so that I may worship the Lord." But Samuel said to him, "I will not go back with you. You have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you as king over Israel." As Samuel turned to leave, Saul caught hold of him of his robe and tore it. Samuel said to him, "The Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today and has given it to one of your neighbors, to one better than you. He who is the glory of Israel does not lie or change his mind, for he is not a human being that he should change his mind." And Saul replied, "I've sinned, but please honor me before the elders of my people and before Israel. Come back with me so that I may worship the Lord your God." So Samuel went back with Saul, and Saul worshipped the Lord. Then Samuel said, "Bring me Agag, the king of the Amalekites." And Agag came to him in chains, and he thought, "Surely the bitterness of death is past." But Samuel said, "As your sword has made women childless, so will your mother be childless among women." And Samuel put Agag to the death before the Lord at Gilgal. Then Samuel left for Ramah, but Saul went up to his home in Gibeah of Saul. Until the day Samuel died, he did not go to see Saul again, though Samuel mourned for him, and the Lord regretted that he had made Saul king over Israel. Let's look now at the first question. Trace the course of Saul's disobedience, his excuses, and his self-interest. And trace also the course of Samuel's warning, denunciation, and declaration of divine judgment. What may we learn here concerning God's ways and the demands of his service? Well, Saul just wasn't cut out for leadership. Not only did he not know the proper orders to give, but he couldn't follow the orders of the one that gave him power in the first place. Saul thought that he knew better than the Lord, and he erected a statue to himself before building an altar to the Lord. For Saul, altars were something you built after you messed things up. Samuel had clearly given Saul the order to destroy everyone and everything. It's not like the orders were unclear. God demands one simple thing from us. He demands that we obey his word, regardless of the fear that we may have of what the people will think. We are called to obey God's word. Second question from verse 11 and from Samuel's reply to Saul in verses 22 and 23. What do we learn concerning the divine reaction against ritual without obedience and against outward religious observance that masks an inner disobedience? Have God's requirements or his attitudes changed? All the religious ritual in the world doesn't cover up disobedience to God's word. What was true for Saul is still true today. Church attendance, tithing, and serving in the church can't cover up disobedience to God's word. Those that try to do so are rebellious people that attempt to use the Lord like a witch would use divination. Sadly, there are many people in the church today living a life filled with the exact same type of disobedience. I trust just for the very fact that you are watching this video today means that you're not trying to cover up sin in your life, but you're being obedient to the Lord. Pray that your obedience to him would continue. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and may God richly bless the rest of your day.